All right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, Coach Hud, Greg Hudson. We got him on video recording just in case he curses. We can beep him out today, so that's good. Hey,
That's
Hud.
bull. That's bull.
Well, there you go. Coach. Coach, hadn't seen you in a while, man. What you been up to?
I well, the Hudson Nation back in the Midwest, we have a number of February birthdays. We have four of them, counting me and the three of the four kids. So those were known in football as spring recruiting babies, and coming home in May on the weekends.
Math checks out.
So we got three of them. So I was home. We had a birthday celebration and Super Bowl family gathering. So, and then it's all around Bo David, the greatest grandson in the world.
There you go.
Maybe in the universe. And then obviously lassoing some business here with the blended cold brew coffee drink and our protein drink, which is going to be a big hit. So
there you go.
Yeah, so I'm just traveling around.
Good stuff. Look, earlier today, Chandler, John Gruden came up, and Chandler said, hearing John Gruden and his passion for football reminds me of Greg Hudson because he wants others to share that passion. And because you'll come in here, Hud, and you'll tell us about why the safety's doing this and the linebacker, and we're looking at you like you're speaking a foreign language.
I got 10 heads.
But tonight you'll be talking to people that understand that kinds of stuff, right? You'll be talking at a coaches convention.
Well, yeah, the North Carolina, the eastern part of the state has their annual coaches clinic, and it's here in Greenville this year. And Garrett Wingate is running it, and Garrett was my wingman for 2 seasons. Garrett was the guy right by my side with the clipboard, and he was also the guy I would turn to at times and go, "Can you believe what the frick just happened?" He'd look at me and go, "Nope." And so I'm really proud of him. He's become a fantastic high school football coach, and it'll be great to see him. And then Coach Blake is also going to be down there. So it says we're the featured speakers. He's the featured speaker. I'm the featured has-been that's going to speak. And but I'm really excited about it because I've talked a little bit at a couple other places back home, but I really have taken to what I learned from Coach Holtz, and I always wondered why he did this. There was always Fortune 500 CEOs and these great businessmen and leaders of companies and politicians were always coming to visit, and they wanted to know, his secret to the team building and motivating and longevity and keeping it going and rebuilding and dealing with crises and stuff like that. And I just saw it all the time. And then he put out a video called Do Right. It was the highest selling business motivational video at the time of all time. And I'm in there, by the way, with a beautiful mullet. And then it just always stuck in my head. So I'm sort of, when I'm talking now, it's sort of three-headed. It's athletics, it's football, the team, tied into business, because it's the same thing. It's relationships. And then, I throw in there a little bit of, just like the podcast, which I got to get back to, that on the back end, there's a mental health story to everything, and slide in that platform, because everything's all fun and games and rosy till you go to rehab. Then it gets a little different.
I was going to say 2 things I've enjoyed outside of the football talk with you is really the mental health stuff you talk about, and also the relationships you still have today with your players. And we've had on a bunch of older guys that join us, and y'all tell stories, and you talk about the love you still have for one another. And I love that part of it when you talk about that stuff.
Guys, I just did a podcast with Dave Schumann. He's a high school coach and a very successful entrepreneur in the high school camps and 7-on-7 and recruiting industry. He's got I think they got 1.4 million followers up there in Jersey, and he does camps all over the country. And I coached Dave in 1994. in Connecticut with Skip. And I got a call from Pat Walsh, who was the first offensive lineman I coached that, got into a camp in the NFL. I just talked to him the other day. He was a 94 to 96 guy. But the crazy one was over Christmas. I got a group text from 3 dudes that I coached in 1991 and 92 at the University of Redlands. And they thanked me for being their coach. And these guys are barely younger than me. I actually coached a guy my first year that was 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
And, but it was a great experience. Those are the things that, then again, Coach Holtz banged into our brain, friends come and go, but your teammates last a lifetime. And I've never found that more true until I've gotten into the upper 50s. And it's completely accurate because they do come and go. But man, when you find out who your friends are, it's usually a teammate.
Hud, I respect you too for the old school mentality you still have, but mixed in with the changing times, and you keep
Absolutely.
up with it. And here's a new one, I guess: the cancellation of spring games. This is becoming popular. What are the main reasons for this happening?
Well, here's a little nugget for you. Spring game 2004, Minnesota. Coach Mason, we're sitting in the staff room. He's like, we're not going over to the Metrodome for a spring game. We're done with that place. We got to play in it, but we only got to go over there 6 times. And we canceled our spring game. And everybody's like, whoa, the people that make money off it are the ones that are pissed. That's the thing. The foundations or, where the receipts for that game go, those are always I know they're donated at Notre Dame. It doesn't go to the coffers in athletics or football. And it's not that, but they, you get 50, 60,000. But we just had a scrimmage. It was a great scrimmage, and we opened it completely to the public. We let them come in 90 minutes before, and there were thousands of people in our indoor and around our 2 big turf practice fields that wrapped around the indoor. We moved all the things and put the bleachers back against the fence. We had kids on people's shoulders. My kids were running around. They were behind me. We were scrimmaging. I was grabbing guys that I knew were big boosters. I was like, what do you want to do here on this 3rd down? And, and it was a blast. So, the spring games, they used to be a lot bigger and more important than they are. Like anything in the spring that goes on and with the year-round development. And the other thing is, man, that you don't need to get hurt tackling somebody in April or the end of March. You just don't need to do that. It's stupid.
I've seen that reason, the health reason, the more NFL model. I've seen that said by coaches. And then I think Matt Rule said something about, hey, we're on TV and people are looking at our players, and for guys that maybe are second string on our team, people start offering them money. There's the NIL part of it too, the portal part, I think, as well.
Newsflash, Matt, they're at the game.
There are spies everywhere. Did y'all send spies to spring games? And
newsflash, that's not new because of the NFL or the NIL and portal. It used to be all the way back to, I'll tell you what, 93, when I was a GA at Notre Dame. Skip and I drove to Chicago and watched the Northwestern spring game, sat right in the middle of the crowd. He talked, and I took notes, and then we went and had beers and chicken wings and drove back to South Bend. But that was common. And of course, you were allowed to do it. And then everybody was like, okay, we're not allowed to do it. Okay, you go there, just don't get caught.
Yeah, who's going to police it? Have you seen this man? If you see this bald guy, don't let him in the building.
Right, and it's like it's just some CIA missions. If you get caught, you have no protection. You're on your own. Do not turn in a travel receipt.
A cyanide pill to take when they
you're dead. Yeah. A GA found dead under scoreboard at a college and news at 11. So this is nothing. None of this is new. It's on the news now. You didn't know about the Minnesota thing, but
Yeah,
it happened.
yeah, yeah. Everything's out there now. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
There's no secrets.
we transition to baseball season. Coach Hud, East
Wow, I'm
Carolina,
so
North
happy.
Carolina coming up. What'd
Yeah,
you say?
I'm so happy.
Oh yeah, I know you're a baseball guy. Going to
Yeah,
get out to Clark LeClaire some this season for sure. But
absolutely.
maybe Monday, Pirates and Tar Heels will play Monday in Greenville.
What's forecast?
Should be pretty nice on Monday. Actually, I think it's going to be warmer next week. So
No, it better because I told Freeman before he asked me if I was coming to the Indiana game. I said, "Bro, I don't stand in crap weather anymore and get paid for it. I ain't getting near that stadium." So, plus at 58, my bones are starting to hurt, bro.
I understand. I
No,
understand.
I'll be there most definitely.
Greg
Love
Hudson.
baseball. I love what Cliff does at that program. I love the way they play. Getting to know Danny and just talking a little
Yeah,
bit has been cool because, I watch a lot of videos or I talk, I can't talk to him as much now because he's in camp, but I lean on Pat Murphy a lot in my life and my journey. He's as big an influence of anybody in my life. And he has his own magical story, but I don't know if you saw his talk about Bob Euchre when he talked to the team about him. It was really neat, and that's how Murph is. So I see a lot of same characteristics in the way things operate from a motivational and a detail and a toughness standpoint with Pirate baseball that I saw with Coach Murphy at Notre Dame and at Arizona State, and now with the Brewers. And he must be doing it right to be the manager of the year. And but I love watching the Pirates play. Love it.
I follow a card guy on social media, and earlier today he said post your favorite card on this Friday. And since you brought his name up, Hud, I found this one going through my dad's stuff, an old Bob Euchre card
Oh,
from the
the
best.
best.
It's a classic. So I love that one. It's one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, I met him up at a game where Murph was playing. The Brewers were against the Reds, and he was sitting in the dugout. And when Murph told him I played at Notre Dame football, man, he started rattling greats off from the '70s and the '80s and the guys I played with and stuff. Just rattle them off and he was that guy you see every single day, 24 hours a day. He was
right.
the only time he wasn't was he was sitting by himself. He was great.
Coach Hud, man, have fun tonight and tell some great stories and
Yeah, I
give
got.
some knowledge to folks.
Yeah, you know what? It really is. It's a privilege for me to do it because one thing I thought is a crime in our industry, and I wish maybe someday I'll have the funds to do it. Is we have let so many coaches get old and pass away, and we don't have their information on file. And I know that's one thing they're doing with Coach Lou Holtz. His legacy. There's a movie coming out. There's just been a lot of filming and recording. But I look back at that picture I showed you that Joe Paterno signed, and that letter that came with it, where Mace told me, he was around Bud Wilkerson and Woody Hayes and Ara Parsegian and these legends. What's his name from BYU and. Well,
Lavelle.
we have any Bo Schembacher. We just have old VHS recordings that are just junk instead of having these files and files of information and them just talking to pass it on to the next generation, because you can do all this fancy crap like they're doing in football and offense and blah, blah, but you saw basic football defense by the Eagles. And when you got four dudes up front, sound familiar, and you don't have to blitz, sound familiar,
Yeah.
you can win a lot and play split safeties all day long. You can beat anybody. And they love each other and care about each other. So I'm off my soapbox, so I'll leave it at that.
Well, the only thing your defenses didn't have well, I take that back.
Let
You
me hear
had
it. You opened your mouth. You better say it.
you had a few honkies, but none in the secondary. You should have had a few more honkies in the secondary like the Eagles did.
Dude, I brought you one. I'm Mags.
Yeah, you did.
Mags, we brought Magazoo.
And he's still here
Hey,
today.
Rick Smith and I had to fight for him.
Thank you for bringing Magazoo into our lives, Coach. The ultimate honky.
He was our Iowa-esque football guy.
Hud, you're the man. We'll get you in studio soon, man.
Okay. Maybe I'll see you around.
All right, bud.
See
Later.
ya.